Hello, everybody! It's Miss Willow, and welcome to the Apothecary. This is going to be a very interesting video because I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit more of my silkworms. This is my mini silk factory. Say hi! Um, and this is the food I have refrigerated for them. They are mulberry silkworms, completely domesticated moths, which are flightless when they become moths. But their silkworms are responsible for the silk that you buy that makes up your clothing, and unfortunately it is done in a very inhumane, inhumane, I cannot speak today, very sad way, which kills poor innocent moths. There is special types of silk called piece silk, but it is more difficult to make. So today, I am going away for the evening, and I figured I would make a video beforehand of refeeding them. It is a good idea to change out their food often, and that way it will prevent diseases and sickness and just them sitting and festering in their frass. Hello. Somebody wants to say hi. Don't look at the silkworms. No. Okay, no silkworms for you. Okay, I'm gonna move over here. Somebody likes. Okay, somebody's interested. I'm being careful. Don't worry. All right. But these are the silkworms. I have 53, and I just received them as my new 2024 batch, and I see they've already grown overnight. Sometimes having little pet moths and caterpillars, it's exciting to watch how fast, how rapid they grow and double in size within like 24 to 48 hours. Can you leave me alone, silly? Alright. But what I'm going to be doing is moving these over to a separate container, and just to be safe, I'm going to remove the cat. I will be right back. Alright, there is no more cat. Now it is safe to help my little silkworms. So, I can already see piles of their frass, which is their droppings. It's a more polite insect world term for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them all to the little napkin, actually. I'm going to move them to the napkin. Except they do make little silk all over the place. And it makes it rather difficult to transport them because they cling to everything with their little silk. And I told them, no silk. As you see, they are still making silk. So, I'm going to move them all to the little napkin. This is going to make sure that they don't drown in the moisture which will collect from their food on the bottom of the aquarium, jar, enclosure, habitat, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to pick all of my little guys. And sometimes it's hard to do this one by one, but they're at a small enough size, which this will take a while. So I will come back to you when I have gathered more silkworms. Alright. As a proud moth auntie, I can happily say that I have got all of my little silk makers in one little pile. Aren't they cute? Aww, they're hungry. I've got to feed them now. It looks like only 2 out of 53 are not doing well. Typically what I find with Lepidoptera is the smaller they are, the more susceptible and sensitive to diseases and sickness they are. So typically, I find that the bigger they grow, the higher chance they have to living and growing up fully. So it's pretty common. Expect that very, very young, like Instar 1, Instar 2, mainly Instar 2, I find die. They're very, very sensitive individuals. Bigger they get, older they grow, more growth stage instars they grow into, I feel like their chance of survival heightens. Um, Again, they don't have an immune system, so if one gets diseased, it is a terrible train wreck of trying to isolate and keep your colony alive. So, I'm going to put that right back in the jar, and this is all of their old food from yesterday eaten away, all the little carrot bits. I don't like wasting, so I'm going to cut these up again and wash them. Um, it's always a good idea to give completely new food, but I'm doing this in a very careful way, which I know how to. So, yeah, they are hungry. I will feed them now. Personally, I keep a whole thing of toothpicks ready for me with this hobby because generally you need a small, thin surface that is rough to pick up very tiny things like eggs and microscopic tiny hatchlings, and also for food. So, what I like to do is I would have a knife with me, but I had this with me. So, I take their food that I have cleaned off, keep refrigerated, and I will only save for a little time, but I'm trying to get the most use out of it before I have to give it a toss. And I will section out little bits of the food for them and sprinkle it in little bits around the toilet paper in there. And they will find that. If you keep all the food in one space, especially if you have a large setup like I have here for the larger caterpillars and moths, if I kept all the food in one corner, caterpillars aren't that smart. They're not. They're gonna go climbing and they're gonna not eat. And only some of them will get what they need to. So it's a good idea. I found. Don't go the pretty way. I have gone the pretty way so many times, and it has never ended well. Functionality over aesthetic when it comes to this is absolutely key. When you focus mainly on aesthetic, disaster will happen. um, Treat these caterpillars like they are 2-year-olds that don't know where the refrigerator is. Anyways, so I will sprinkle around the food where they are bound to find it no matter where they walk. And now the little silkworms have their food. As you see, I spread it out evenly across the container, and I even rolled and flattened the balls of mulberry powder, which is the little silkworm chow that you can get, um, which consists of the food they need to survive, and it is a rehydratable substance which is microwavable, expands, and you can keep it refrigerated. But I don't recommend keeping it too long, though. Again, always read what the package says. I have rolled and flattened them so that I can see a smooth surface and can monitor how much these little guys are eating. It is important for me personally, in my studies, to be able to monitor how much food to give them, so when I can clearly see the bite marks out of an item, or food source, it's pretty helpful to me to see, oh, they've eaten that much, oh, this one's eating, half of this little morsel is gone. If it's all clumpy food like you saw before, you can't really tell how much has or hasn't been eaten of it. So, I like to round out the little bits of food so that I can tell the chew marks. It's easiest with leaves because you can obviously see them munch away on whole fresh greens. And thing is, I just can't get mulberry leaves very easily right now. And that would be pretty expensive too, at least for me. So this is going to have to suffice for now. I'll add a couple shreds of carrot in there in a little while. But they're already starting to have a good munch time. They're so cute. My little guys. Auntie thinks my little silk farm is doing magnificent. Look how spectacular these little things are. Oh my goodness, what underrated creatures. Their life cycle is short, and same with all moths. I feel like the low commitment time makes a great pet and great study friend. You can really focus your time on taking care of them, especially since half their life, or third to half their life, most moths consists of being in a cocoon or pupa. Your active caring time is cut in half. Um, Difficult part is the caterpillars. A lot of the adult moths are mouthless, and their only goal and purpose is to find a mate and reproduce their line. But the moths that do drink and pollinate flowers from drinking the nectar, which is a great, great cause of moths that people don't look at. People overlook that so greatly and just think about like the bees and butterflies and ew, moths. But moths play a very important role in nature and the ecosystem. But they drink nectar from the flowers, like the hummingbirds do, and again, that if you have moths like that, that's also pretty easy to take care of. I just got myself a little fake flower miniature hummingbird feeder and fill it with undyed mixture of honey and water or undyed hummingbird nectar, and they do just fine. Anyways, guys, I hope you had a great time. Thank you so much for watching and learning with me, and stay tuned for the next video where I will be possibly teaching or showing you something really cool about moths. Anyways, guys, you have a lovely day.